Hello, good morning, and welcome to the Virtual Concert Halls live show. My name is Chris Au, first prize winner of the 2020 Sound Espressivo Competition. And now, this year, I am a judge, social media manager, and host of today's show. So welcome, and it's a great pleasure to have you. Thank you for joining. Today, we'll divide the show up into two parts. So the first part, we're going to show you how easy it is to apply the Sound Espressivo competition. In fact, I'll show you a video of how it all works, and it will be done before you know it. And the second thing we'll do is we're going to have something fun. We're going to do something fun where we're going to bring in some guests, and we're going to do something like a variety show. Ask them some questions, quiz them a little bit, and you get to meet our producer and director, Ante Bojic, and he'll correct my pronunciation of that when he gets on. So without further ado, let's roll the intro and get this show on the road. So for today's first segment, I thought I'd show you a short video of the whole application process. Now, there are competitions out there, and I've just recently applied to one, where the application process takes a really long time. You've got to upload all your bio, you've got to upload all your recordings, who you studied with, most recent recordings, most recent concerts and ensembles, conductors you've met. It takes a really long time, and it's quite burdensome. But this competition, you'll be done in 2 minutes. I guarantee it's very quick, and it's designed that way. Why? It's designed that way so that you get your spot in, to just secure your position in the preliminary audition. But also, we want to get to know you first. And that's what the preliminary audition is about. We don't really need to know that much about your teacher, your background. We want to meet you. We want you as a musician, and we want to meet your playing and listen to you. And we think that's the most important thing. So that's why it's a very easy and simple application process. Now, what happens in a Sound Espressivo preliminary audition, right? And what makes this so special is that every audition and competition round, you have a judge who will listen to you live and give you live feedback. Right, just a few notes here and there. Oh, we loved it. That was great. Why don't you try a little bit of this and that? And then we'll write to you and say whether you've advanced into the semi-final round. And then it gets really interesting. And every audition and competition round, especially if you choose to do a live broadcast and do audition live, you'll get to meet a producer, director who will actually check your microphone, your speakers, your camera. So you get a little taste of what it is like to be on our streaming platform, our live broadcast. You meet a producer, director, you meet the judge, and you might even have a host as well to get you comfortable. So you get a little taste of what it's like to be a competitor, and then you might really like it. So without further ado, we're going to roll the application process video. Thank you, Ante. And we're going to show this process, and I'm going to give you some comments as we go. So this is what I did earlier, right? So there's a application form in soundespressivo.com, competition.com/application. And you can choose a live broadcast performance, or you can choose a video submission. I've chosen a live broadcast performance. I've entered my name, and I've chosen a date. You have a whole array of dates from October 30th until the middle of December. And as you go on, if you choose a video submission, you can actually put your URL there, okay? And then you don't have to schedule your date. But you have your email there. That's mine if you want to send me any comments, suggestions. And you enter your time zone and your repertoire. Now, your preliminary round, there's a time limit, 10 minutes, okay? But that's not to negate the fact that if you get into the semi-final round and also the finals, there's no time limits. Okay, just the preliminary audition, there's a limit of 10 minutes, and that's just enough to give us a foretaste of what your playing's about. Now, what I've written here is definitely more than 10 minutes, but for your information, just 10 minutes. And I've chosen piano because I'm a pianist. You can also choose between competitive and non-competitive. If this is your first time competing or you're not comfortable, you can choose non-competitive. You still get feedback, you still get to experience our platform, and it's pretty great. So I've entered Ante, our producer, as our teacher. And of course, this is just a draft, so nothing too official here. You enter your email, you understand, click agree, and it's that simple. You press proceed to checkout, and you pay the application fee, and that's it, right? And so I've shown here a little bit of that process. You put in your details once more, just confirm that those are right, press continue, and that's it. Enter your payment method. All right, and I'm not going to show you my credit card, so we'll stop there. So thank you, Ante. That's how easy it is. It takes around 2 to 3 minutes tops, and it's that simple. And we, like I said, if you're joining us now, it's designed to be simple, right? The application process is designed to be simple because we will actually want to meet you. We're rushing, in fact, to meet you and to get to know you as a musician and see if we, align in values, and we'll tell you, we'll answer any questions during your preliminary live audition that you may have. So we're really excited to show you that. And so let's see. So that part is done. And I'm going to bring in our co-founder and visionary, innovator, and just my amazing boss, Dr. Anna Ospinskaya, to just ask her a few questions. And I want to bring her in now and ask her basically, hello, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me. Chris. And she's, you've
So you introduced me as a boss. I'm going to start bossing you.
You better. Yeah, I don't feel bossed around enough. No, it's been fantastic, and it's kind of weird to call you that because I feel like we're really working together and collaborating. Obviously, there are things I love your decisions to make because it's you're the co-founder, but otherwise I love that you've given me free reign to do so many things, and it's been just such a pleasure.
Chris, thank you for having me on the show. There's just one little comment I wanted to make about the application form.
Please.
Some people might wonder at the end of the application form they have to check the box that they agree to the broadcast terms, and some people might think what it is. You can click on the link in there and read a one-page broadcast consent form. It's required for everyone who shows up on the live show, and it protects your rights and protects you from trolls around there, and it protects also the Sound Espressivo competition and the virtual concert halls from some people doing some unexpectedly unpleasant things. Just a little comment there.
Thank you for that. That's really good amount of context. So you and I, we've been doing these podcasts for more than a week now, and we've covered a lot of topics. Social media management. We've covered how to sort through competitions for your students. We've talked about performance category prizes. We talked about scholarships, and yesterday you did a show on the artistic awards, and we also talked about why immediate feedback is important. So my question for you this time, of all the things you've already talked about, is what happens after a contestant applies? Well, after this application process, very easy 2 to 3 minute thing. What happens after?
Well, the application is received by our office, and we try our best to communicate immediately, so we confirm that we received the application. And if people chose to submit the video for the preliminary round, which is easier, of course, than scheduling the audition, but I would like to encourage everyone to actually consider scheduling the audition, because like Chris said, that's an opportunity to experience and get a little preview of what it's like to be in the semifinal and final round. What if you make it there? The more prepared you are, the more comfortable you're going to be with the setting. But nonetheless, if you submitted the video, then that video is then passed on to one of the judges of our panel, and the judge will view the video and give feedback, and we have pretty quick turnaround. The feedback will come to you in the email together with a decision of the judge whether or not you advance to the semifinal round. Now, if you do schedule the live audition, the process becomes a little bit more complex, and I would like to again encourage everyone to dive into the complexity of the process, because frankly, our profession is not about short attention span and quick things. Yes, the application is short and quick, but the profession of a performing artist is not. Everybody knows it takes time to learn things. Well, it takes time to build your career too. So if you choose to have a live audition, this needs to be scheduled, and we'll communicate with you to schedule and put you in an available slot. Please pay attention to the dates. Make sure which date you prefer, and we have to schedule the whole machine, because this broadcasting machine requires a lot of hands. We need producers, directors, and hosts, and the judge. All those people need to be scheduled, so bear with us. We'll make the schedule. We'll get in touch with you. We'll send you confirmation.
That's something that's so incredible about this, is that it's not... I think the easy way actually would have been just to get everybody to send video submissions, right? Because then it's just to judge, and you've taken the effort to actually say, no, we want you to have a mini experience of what it's like to be in the competition, right? And so there is a scheduling producer and director, the host, the judge, and to make sure it aligns with you, it's not an uncomfortable performing time. And I know that, from coming from Australia and being in Australia when I competed in the 2020 Sound Espressivo competition, you made every allowance you could to make it a workable hour for me.
Our producer had to get up at 6 a.m. to produce your audition.
Yeah, and I remember I had to wake up quite early for one of my, I think the final round, and sometimes things happen and it's a little later than you expect or a little earlier than expect, but that's part of being a musician, and I really appreciate all the stuff that works, that all the work that is behind the scenes. I think that's really to your credit and to your team's credit.
Well, exactly, and the thing is, we all love easy things which produce great results, but most of the time they don't. So putting an effort into something a bit more complicated pays off, because the contestants who do choose the live audition will be enriched with that experience. So it's just simple as that.
I really like that. It's a enriching experience to invest time and effort into projects that you care about. And I heartily believe it. I remember there are competitions where I just kind of submit some video and then don't hear back for weeks, and I don't feel that attached to it. But with the Sound Espressivo competition, I really cared. I really wanted to do my best. I wanted to try something different, and I knew that whoever was hearing me also was on a similar wavelength, and that makes a difference.
Yes, we're invested here, and we understand that musicians who really care about their future, whether it's a young kid who wants to study and excel, or someone like you, Chris, who are building your career, you're invested in there. So we are all invested into this process, and I would like to encourage everyone to make the most out of it. The more you invest in the process, the more you take it forward.
Absolutely. Wow. No, thank you. If you're just joining us now, we're going to do a little brief overview of what we've done, what this competition is about. This incredible competition, only in its second year, is advancing and in the live broadcast technology. What we want to do is make it easy for music organizations from all around the world, from masterclasses, management, festivals, all over the world, to connect with musicians who want to try something new. We have artistic awards, which Dr. Anna talked about, which actually does its job in honing your unique artistic voice. And speaking of artistic awards, actually leads me to the second part of our show, which is actually a really fun part of the show. I'm going to introduce our producer for the first time. His name is Ante Božić-Kudrić, and I'm going to butchering the name. So how do you say it? And did I say it at least a little bit okay?
You're close, but it's hard to pronounce Croatian, I assure you. It's Božić. Shostakovich?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's similar,
Božić.
but you need to add the zh in the
Božić.
middle. Božić.
Oh, yeah. Božić-Kudrić. Okay.
Kudrić.
Eventually,
Chris,
I think I'll get it right.
Chris, thank you so much for inviting me to the show. I've been working here as a director and producer behind the scenes, and this is new to me. But exciting, yeah.
This is fun. You'll get comfortable, and we're just going to have a lot of fun, okay? This is, Ante has been a producer and director for all the shows that I've done so far, and what's amazing is how thoughtful and considerate he is in putting everything together. And so what we want to do tonight is let's have some fun. It's Friday night for me, so you know what that means. Usually it's drinks and a bit of a party, and that's what we're gonna do tenight. Okay. So what we're gonna do to start us off is actually, Ante, if you don't mind, I would love for you to share, where you are. We're in Croatia. Tell us a little bit about that place, that town, that house you're in, and also a little bit about your music journey. I know you're a pianist, but also a composer.
Yeah. Chris, thank you so much. I'm currently in my hometown in Split. It's in Croatia. It's a nice Mediterranean city on the Adriatic coast. You should visit, definitely. We have a lot of tourists in the summer.
Really
well. I'd love to. That's in the plan. That's my bucket list.
And about my music career, I've been playing piano for the last, 22 years or so. And I did my elementary and high school education here in Split, but later I moved to Zagreb to study in the music academy. It was for 5 years, and I had a blast there in Zagreb. I had a great professor, which really put it on another level of playing. And during that time, I also started to think more about composing, because I've been composing from when I was 13, but it was not so serious, you know. It was I was not so sure about my composition skills, but later when I was 24, I started to do it seriously. And we can talk more about it maybe in some future show. You know, I
would love to. Yeah, we're gonna feature some of your compositions and what the whole point of this, if you're joining us and listening, is that we want to show you our team, and it's a very important part of this, because the team makes the competition. It really does. It falls apart if you have a good team, and it makes the competition. And so the more you meet us, and what you'll find is a lot of us, actually every one of us, are musicians. You know, you're among family, and yet we're taking on different roles, right, Doctor? Like, you're a pianist and quote unquote child prodigy, and so you've been doing this for ages, but yet you're still organizing.
Thank you, Chris, for confirming my ages. No, just kidding. But seriously, yes, you're absolutely right. The team, and including the technical team of producers, audio video engineers, and directors of every one of these shows, is comprised of professional musicians who have careers in the professional music world. It's possible, and it's quite doable, and I think we need to admit that it's maybe necessary for musicians to follow our heart and to do more than just learning the next piece, because we're so much bigger than the next piece, and there's so much more we can do. And so our team is all comprised of people who are very capable in variety of fields, and like Ante is a composer, pianist. He is a director of the show, and I would say director of the show is a challenging job. And we just talked before coming on this show that it feels like almost like chamber music, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It is. It really is. And sometimes, you know, I'll send a few signals here and there, or little keywords, and then Ante will know exactly what to do. And so that's part of the charm of working
we need
here.
To be
and
on the same wavelength. You know?
Oh,
like
yeah,
when playing with chamber musicians, it's always, when do we do rubato? When do we do italiano? It's always different. Every time it's a different thing.
Yeah.
And I
listen
think
to one another,
and
right?
you learn.
And I think musicians are really naturally capable of really feeling the moment and the time when we're creating the live show. And that's what Sound Espressivo is all about. It's a live music show. It's a live music event and experience.
Mm-hmm. And it's all art. It really is, isn't it? So what I want to do, speaking of art, we're going to have a little game at the end, and we're going to try this thing, because, you know what, let's have a bit of fun. You know, this is music is sometimes a very serious business, but I don't think it should be. We take ourselves
at least not always.
seriously. Yeah, at least not always. I think we should not take ourselves too seriously, but really be passionate about what we do. So what we're going to do is we'll discuss the artistic awards and give concrete examples of what you would program, Dr. Anna and Ante, if you were to be nominated, or if you were to nominate for yourself these artistic awards. Okay. So,
you mean you want me to make a decision on the spot, right? You're not giving me some time to think.
Not really. No. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show. Yeah,
well, so I would like to discourage everyone who is watching from making decisions on the spot.
They should think carefully.
Think a little bit more about what you're going to perform. But anyway, let's go with the game.
Let's have some fun with this. So this is a trial run, okay? Let's say I showed this image, and this is lyrical, and this is a really incredible artistic award. Which, you know, if you're really interested in playing very lyrical, beautiful music that does great voice line control, balance, tone color, captivating presence, this might be you. And so what would you program? You know, you might, if you're choosing this award, you might not play anything too outside of that lyricism. You might really hone in on that, and it's a very valuable prize, I think, to aim towards, and it's a way to discover your voice. Like I did, I discovered, maybe I'm an ambassador, you know, and therefore I had to present it in a different way. So Dr. Anna, you're going to go first as our honorary guest, and I'm going to choose one for you. And can you give me examples of repertoire you would play if you were to nominate this?
Oh, wow. That's one of my favorite categories for myself personally.
Really?
How did you strike that? Okay, innovative. If I personally were choosing this category, I wouldn't. But if I were, I would make sure I put innovation into every aspect of my presentation. Choice of the repertoire, I probably would choose something where I can include a cadenza of my own. For example, it doesn't even have to be concerto. It can be some Beethoven sonatas have fermatas. Why not add a cadenza? Maybe a very small one, and I would make a point. I would actually introduce on my presentation and make a focal point, tell the judges a little preview that this is going to be an innovative version of Beethoven sonata, and just look for a few inserts in there, and I hope you don't cringe. So, and then when composing those, I'm not a professional composer, but every musician maybe tried composing something at one point or another. I would make sure that I do a modern, innovative version of it, just like people did when the pieces were composed. And what is the most innovative form of a cadenza or another arrangement today? Well, it's called a cover. So my little cadenzas would be covers of the piece. Okay, I might even compose another ending. So if I were going into that, venturing into that, my part of the presentation would include a mix of classical pieces and some of my own inserts, my own compositions. That's one path potentially I would take.
That's
The other
a great
path,
idea.
yeah, and I have a second path, which I potentially would take when choosing the repertoire. I would choose the pieces which might allow me to add soundtrack. Now that can be a bit tricky, but innovation is one of my things which I like very much. So I would try to go all in and maybe choose a Chopin mazurka and add nature sounds to it on the soundtrack, or potentially rhythmic sounds which would represent maybe how mazurkas were accompanied during the time, because it could have been, the music for the dance could have been played by multiple instruments. Maybe get a soundtrack of a little pizzicato here and there from strings or something.
That's
and I would play
brilliant.
the soundtrack.
See, I surprised you with this.
Yes, you did.
But you seem to already know the answer.
Like this,
I guarantee you, or whoever's listening, that I did not prepare them. I am choosing these at random. And
He did not. Absolutely no, he did not.
I did not prepare them. So this is incredible. Thank you, Dr. Anna. Now, Ante, it's your turn.
Okay.
I'm going to choose one for you. And all right, so this is the one I will choose. And I actually quite like this category because it actually, you have to encapsulate a lot in a very small amount of time. So what would you program?
Yeah, I like this category also because I play a lot of miniatures and I always included them in my repertoire program. I think for sure Chopin mazurkas, I will do them. Not just them, but at least 4 or 5 Chopin mazurkas. Or maybe some waltzes, and I would like to maybe include also some arrangements, piano arrangements, transcriptions. Maybe Camille Saint-Saëns, The Swan, arranged by Zilotti, maybe Gluck's Gambati melody, something like that, which is maybe not always played in this kind of, competition things. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not so innovative as Anna.
You mean you're not going to include one of your compositions that might be a miniature?
Yeah. I could, yeah. Actually have a very good one, which is a miniature, which is my arrangement of myself. So I wrote a piece for, it's like for soprano and piano or tenor, whatever. And it's on a very famous poem here by Dobriša Cesaric. It's about cloud that is floating in the sky. It's the only cloud in the sky, and everybody is doing their thing. The people are, living their lives, and they're worried about everything, and the cloud is just there looking beautiful and being in the moment. So that one is quite a miniature, I think. And it's
I want to play it now. That sounds.
Yeah.
I want to at least hear it.
I can send you. Yeah.
Please. Okay,
Please,
so we already
you
know
sold it. I want to play it too.
So we already know what we're talking about next time. We're going to talk about your piece, So this is great. I hope you had fun. Okay, I hope this was a fun thing.
I definitely had fun.
All right, well we might do this again then. Oh, this is great. Thank you for playing. Yeah. Thank you for being part of the show, Ante. And it's always a pleasure. And I hope you come back. Honestly, hope this is fun for you.
For sure, I will. Yeah.
Sounds good.
And
all
I
right,
want to include
next time, Chris, I'm going to ask you.
Deal. Sorry, Ante, you were going to say?
I said the same as Anna, yeah. That we need
Oh,
to
okay.
ask you,
Both of you are playing chamber music.
we need to play this roulette.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So thank you for everybody for joining the show. This has been a really fun time. We covered how to apply to the Sound Espressivo competition. That it's not a very complicated process, not a very time-consuming process, but a necessary process to be a part of the competition. And then we played a little game together. We had Dr. Anna and Ante, and we talked a little bit about the artistic awards and what it would be like to actually program for these awards. And what I love about these artistic awards is that it actually hones a specific part of your artistry. You know, it's not often that you get told, oh, just play all miniatures. You know, we're always going to make a balanced program. You know, there's some virtuosity, there's some lyricism, but what if I told you, no, just play all miniatures, or everything swift, or everything lyrical, you know, and then you might come up with different choices. So I think this is a fantastic award. Thank you for being part of the show today, and thank you for being our director, Ante. Thank you for the Sound Espressivo competition team. This has been such a great joy.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. And thank you, everyone who's watching.
See you next time.
See you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
No matter where you are or who you are, music connects us all. We started with a dream, but now we are paving the future. Welcome to the Sound Espressivo Global Competition. Fully virtual, yet bringing musicians closer together than ever before, now on a global scale. True live, inclusivity, diversity, connection, community. An extraordinary array of judges. Get noticed by companies all over the world. Prizes, scholarships, performance opportunities. Apply to be a part of the most exciting congregation of artists like nothing you've ever seen before. We guarantee quality and leave no musician behind. We can't wait to hear you on the virtual stage.